Hello friends, and welcome to Escaping the Mouse with your host, me, Breck Rowell. Alright, we're going to do a little bit more work on the Christmas village today. I've been thinking about how I could put lights under some of these buildings because these buildings actually have little holes in the windows, and some of the clay is actually thin enough so you can actually see through it. It creates the illusion of a lit up window, and I've been trying to figure out for a while how I could do that. I've been looking for like some incandescent light bulbs for like Christmas lights or something like that. And I just couldn't really find the things that I needed because they're either the LEDs, and one of the problems with LEDs is if you don't need 100 or 500 lights or however many are on there, you got to remove those lights, and unfortunately you remove one of the lights and the whole string goes out. So I wanted to find some incandescent bulbs that would do that, and I went over to Home Depot, couldn't really find anything I was looking for that was exactly right. They had some, but you know, they weren't the right kind of thing, and they were too close together and stuff like that. And I went over to Walmart and I actually found these little strings of light that each one of them have 4 incandescent bulbs on it. And it seems to me that these are really designed for exactly what I'm looking for. I'm going to drill some holes into the platform, and we're going to string the light up from underneath, and then we're going to be able to put the buildings on them and light them up, and I think it'll look pretty cool. I also want to neaten up the electrical system. Now that I've kind of made the decision that I am going to drill some holes in the attachment board, I can route this a little neater, and I've got an idea of how to create a master switch that'll turn the whole thing on. So that's our project for today. So these are the lights that I found, and they're just little 7-watt incandescent bulbs, and like I said, there's 4 of them on each string, and it's perfect. You put the light bulb inside the building, and it lights up, and it makes it look like there's actually people inside there. So like I said, I'm going to restring this, kind of wire this whole thing up here, run some holes through it, and run the lights through it. Like I said, I want to reroute the power cord for the train through there, because the power cord right now is running here. You can still see it a little bit under the snow. I don't want it to be that visible, and we're also going to reroute this here because you can see this wire here. And so that's going to go through the board also and be on the underside. It'll neaten the whole thing up. Now, one of the things I'm going to have to deal with is that the transition between the table that's normally there and the piece that I attached is right here. And I'm going to have to get these buildings in front of that because I don't want to drill any holes through my tabletop. I don't mind drilling holes through this part of it because this part's, you know, not supposed to be there to look nice. It's supposed to just create a platform. So what I want to do is I want to shift the whole train set forward probably about 6 inches, and we're going to compress all these buildings so that they're ahead of this line. That way I can drill the holes on them through the board and not damage the actual table thing. So first thing I think I want to do is move the train forward. The train set's going to go all the way to the edge. I have the option here where the power connects to the re-railer track. I can either plug it in here or plug it in on the back side. So if I plug it in on the back side, I can move the train track all the way to the edge and connect up here. So I think ultimately that's how I want to start that, and that's probably going to be the first thing we're going to do here. Alright, this is the underside of the table. I've actually added a power strip to the underside so that I can run the wires through, plug them in under there, get a whole bunch of things plugged in all at once. And I've also taken the 2 wires that are going to the individual lights and ran them to different parts on the underside of the table, drilled holes through them, and have the lights now popping up through the underside of the table. So this is going to be where the location of all the buildings are going to be. And I've also routed the wire. This is the power cord going to the controller, and then the controller signal that goes over here to the track. So now I just got to put this whole thing back together, and I'll show you what that's going to look like. Alright, a little bit of time has gone by. I got everything hooked back up again. The lights are strung through the simulated snow. I've got the train wired up. Actually, I want to do something a little bit with this wire, I think, so it isn't hanging down, but that should be pretty easy to do. I'll just kind of string it behind some of the other stuff under there, and it'll get it all nice out of sight. So let's put the village back together and see what we got. So yeah, it seems like an awful lot of work just to make the lights in the buildings come on, but I think it actually adds to the ambiance really nicely. I turned the lights off a little bit in the house so you could see them a little better. But yeah, that looks pretty cool, doesn't it? Now we just got to put the trees back on, hook the train back up, and this thing's ready to go. So, got it all back together here, got the train running again. I've noticed here I've got a little bit of a problem with the train goes past this point here. It seems to stall. And I'm going to have to do some thinking about that because that's been happening for a while. It didn't happen initially right at the beginning, but there's definitely something weird going on there. So we're going to spend a little time thinking about that and see if I can figure out what that is. I may end up going to Hobbytown and seeing what they think, show them video of this. But I really like the fact that the little buildings now are all lit up. That kind of adds to the charm of the village here, and so that was actually relatively easy to do. Those little lights were about $5 a piece. I got 2 of them and just got them strung up underneath here, running through the underside of the board there on top of all the buildings, and yeah, it looks pretty cool, doesn't it? So anyway, I think that's all that I have for today. Thank you as always for watching, and I'll see you next time on Escaping the Mouse. Good night.